Chinese hackers are practicing, cracking their knuckles, getting ready for Donald Trump and his clown car of administration officials to take office. And they're doing a little practice right now, right on the heels of the Salt Typhoon attack against 9 telecom companies here in America, in which for months, it appears, the Chinese were just living inside of these telecommunications companies, peering at our phone calls, text messages, and other things. We've got new report that Chinese hackers have hacked into the Treasury Department and have been sitting and looking at allegedly unclassified documents on workstations for the Treasury Department. As again, I said, they are practicing for when Donald Trump creates new vulnerabilities, new openings, new Achilles heels that they can exploit against the American people. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. You knew that already. You're here. Take a moment, help us continue to build this pro-democracy channel. Let's talk about the Chinese. Donald Trump is all excited about the Chinese. He invited the premier of China, communist China, to come to his inauguration. All right. While he's doing that, Chinese hackers under the direction of the Chinese government are trying to harm America and its national security. Now, we already knew during the campaign that Chinese hackers had broken into, through the telecom companies like Verizon and others, had gotten into Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's own cell phones and taking documents off mobile devices and trying to leak it, like the vetting report and the white paper about J.D. Vance and his background, those types of things. Then it turns out that that particular cyber attack was not limited to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Instead, Chinese hackers at the request and the command of the Chinese government were just basically living inside of 9 different telecom companies like Sprint and Verizon, AT&T, and the like, peering at our messages, our voicemails, and the rest. Great. That was known as, perpetrated by a hacking group, which Microsoft and its cybersecurity arm of Microsoft called Salt Typhoon, the Salt Typhoon Group. Now we've got brand new reporting that the Treasury Department, through a third-party vendor that they had hired, contractor that they had hired, listen to this name for the third-party contractor, Beyond Trust. Yeah, well, Beyond Trust just got compromised by the Chinese hackers. I don't know if it was Salt Typhoon, but it's somebody just like them. And they broke in, got around the defenses that were established by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency for the United States, and have basically been living on Treasury Department workstations, looking at what we're told are unclassified documents for a long, long time. And now, as I've said, this is just a dress rehearsal for what the Chinese are going to do. And when they're in the middle of duping Donald Trump with flattery, and sure, their premier will come to the inaugural ball and go sit for his inauguration and have dinner with Donald Trump. Look, the premier of China went to Peru and shook hands with Joe Biden and entered into some cooperation agreements. Recently, we even got some prisoner exchange with the Chinese. They're all just lulling us to sleep. They're lying in wait. They're multi-faced. Front-facing diplomacy. It's like, oh, we should get along better. China and the United States, we've had open relationships since 1972. Even Jimmy Carter helped normalize relationships with China. That's on the front face. On the side face, it's cybersecurity and cyber attacks led by hackers paid for and controlled by the Chinese government to undermine our national security. And who among us watching me now on this hot take on Legal AF believes that we're going to be, as an American people, more secure, our national security tighter, our fortress around the United States is going to be stronger and with more protective measures under Donald Trump than under Joe Biden? Who believes that? If you believe that, let's talk about what edible or gummy that you're on. Because Donald Trump is going to put in a bunch of lackeys and toadies who are just bootlickers, who are not qualified for the positions, who are going to be part of our national intelligence and defense and homeland security apparatus. Kash Patel, right? Who's not qualified, who's never been in the intelligence community, who's got a vendetta list a mile long against the enemies of Donald Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, who people have rumored for years is being groomed by the Russians as an asset. This is who Donald Trump puts into national intelligence. I don't even want to know who he's considering for cybersecurity and infrastructure protection. The Chinese are not scared. I was at dinner recently I was at a wedding actually, and I was having a conversation with a very reasonable Republican. They exist. I'd call him a Reagan or Rockefeller Republican. And I've been accused of being a Clinton or Kennedy Democrat, so I get it. So we were having a conversation, and he said to me, I think it's good to have an erratic Donald Trump in charge of our national security and foreign policy. I said, why is that? He said, it keeps our enemies on their toes. I said, no, it doesn't. It makes them laugh out loud at the undisciplined mind of Donald Trump in action and try to find ways to exploit it because they don't think he has the eye on the ball. He doesn't think he has any type of discipline. These hackers, these terrorist groups, right? They don't have 1-year plans, 2-year plans, 4-year plans. They have 10-year plans, 20-year plans, 40-year plans. They're the cockroaches of our enemies. They're going to outlast us. And all they got to do is outlast Donald Trump, who's going to be lame duck by his second year anyway. They know he's automatically lame duck because he only can serve 1 term. He'll try to do maximum damage in that amount of time. But our enemies don't see an erratic person heading the presidency of America as something to be scared of. Oh, well, maybe we shouldn't do this because he's erratic. That's not how that works. They just think he's somebody who's weak and can be exploited because he doesn't have a disciplined mind. And that's what we're starting to watch right now. They're trying to take advantage of the division in America. They're trying to take advantage of the last remaining days of the Biden administration, hoping that somebody took their eye off the ball, right? That they're so worried about their jobs and being replaced that they're not doing their job. And they're trying to exploit that. Wait till they get the roster of who Donald Trump wants to appoint. You think a hack of the Treasury Department, right? When it's Pete Hegseth for defense, the Defense Department's going to get hacked. When it's Tulsi Gabbard for the National Intelligence Directorate, and she has 18 agencies that report to her, that's going to get hacked. If they even have to hack Tulsi Gabbard based on the rumors that she's been a Russian asset for years. And so our enemies are just rubbing their hands in glee and salivating over another Trump term. It helps them with recruitment. People that don't like Donald Trump around the world, it helps bring our enemies together. It galvanizes them, right? And it weakens our defense system and our alliances with the people that are supposed to be our allies. What are our allies supposed to make of it all? Donald Trump's main proxy, Elon Musk, is trying to lead to the fall of the German government. Right? He supported an alt-right fascist group against the Democrats and the left of center government. They're trying to topple all of the governments that are our allies. So we're losing our allies. They're not going to want to share intelligence with us because they see us as unstable and erratic. So there goes national. See, I think people don't understand that keeping us safe is not just about long-range missiles and troops on the ground. Keeping us safe is about preventing attacks before they happen. Not what Israel did after 10/7, trying to prevent 10/7, trying to prevent 9/11. And that is where the intelligence community comes in. And that is where our broad relationships with NATO and other allies comes into play. But Donald Trump is going to destroy all that. And the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranian hackers know that. And they take turns. I'm sure it's like a line to get in for cyber hackers. They're like, oh, I can't even get in right now. I can't even break into this computer because I got a Russian guy in front of me or I got an Iranian guy in front of me. It's usually guys. Yeah. I want to dispel the myth. I call it the lethal weapon myth. The Mel Gibson myth. His character on Lethal Weapon Oh, it's just so crazy. Oh, the street criminals don't know what he's going to do next. Oh my God, is he going to shoot me? Is he going to attack me? What's he going to do? Oh, that's not how keeping us safe globally works. But even fair-minded people like this guy I talked to, even he thought, well, around the world, I've heard that it's better to have, a strong, crazy guy than a diplomat like Joe Biden. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. We haven't had an attack on American soil during Joe Biden's administration. The wars that broke out were wars that have been going on for centuries. The attempt by Russia to take over its neighbors? I'm sorry. Did anybody watch Alexander the Great? Middle East conflict since the 40s. Russia attempts to take over its neighbors since the 1700s. But what blew up here? Sure, we've got some crazy, the number one attack on America on a regular basis is mass shootings caused by our lax gun control policies and the way the United States Supreme Court interprets gun rights under the Second Amendment. 338 public schools had school shootings, where schools had school shootings this year. We are under attack. But it's not because of Joe Biden's policies, and it's not from our foreign enemies. It's from, white boys and girls with guns primarily. We just had our first female shooter in a school in a long time. So I'm going to continue to follow how the Chinese, I care less about how Greenland and Panama respond to us. I care more about how the Chinese, the Russians, Iranians, and others that want to do us harm are reacting and planning for the arrival of Donald Trump. Because they're planning also. It's not just the Democratic attorneys general in California and governors and things that are planning for the next Trump administration, or here on Legal AF planning for the next Trump administration. Our enemies are planning too. And they're already running covert operations and cyber attacks as I speak. I'm sure by the time I'm done here, another one already happened, and I'll follow it. Legal AF. Follow me on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow night included, or Tuesday night included, for Popok Live. I take questions. I give answers. I don't blow smoke or sunshine. The OG podcast, Legal AF, 5 years old. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, and then our every podcast platform you can think of. And then I'm glad you're here. Take a minute, hit the blue button, free subscribe, help us to continue to grow a durable, trustworthy, independent media channel doing law, commentary, and analysis like no other. I'm glad you're here. I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.